Oh, okay. We still have time, so I can talk, I guess. Uh, so this is related to the lazy developers.
Oh, you already did it. Wow.
I do also have like a web app and web API, but because I want to start at the concept first.
Yes.
So, okay, ASP.NET and Core, ASP.NET Core. So you would soon understand why sugar, spice, and everything nice, if you know that cartoon. If not, oh my gosh, it's Powerpuff Girls, okay? Okay, so agenda, only ASP.NET Core, because it's gonna be, oh my god, it's gonna be hard. It's like, when I started looking what is ASP.NET Core, it was like a bottomless pit. I keep looking and then I get redirected here, get redirected elsewhere. It's super hard to find out what it is. So ASP.NET is a part of the .NET. .NET is a framework. ASP.NET, I mean, when you say ASP.NET Core, it's ASP.NET version 5, but they renamed it to ASP.NET Core. And actually, there are more confusions with this. So hang on. So we'll talk about first with .NET framework. It was development started in 1990s by Microsoft, and it was just implemented 2002. Now it's on the version 4.7.2, like last April 2018. Okay, what is .NET framework? So with .NET framework, you can build apps that runs on Windows platform. You can develop form-based app. If you remember your C++ intermediate course that we were creating like GUI type form-based, and you can click that GUI and it becomes code. That's like a form-based application.
Just a second. Everybody studied C++, right? And you created a GUI, am I correct?
GUI.
Graphical user interface. You didn't C++ code?
Yeah, so if you remember, we have two C++. One is intro, we just have the console app. The intermediate one was, we also studied C++ / CLI. And then one of them, oh, really? Oh, you must go back to your course. So,
okay, good news. Whatever you are doing, nobody's using console, nobody's using GUI.
Yeah.
Forget it. You cannot find the job.
Oh, is it like a GUI?
GUI, yes.
Oh,
GUI, yes.
Yeah, it's it was called form-based app because you can just click on your IDE and you would have like your window or form.
Yeah, that's famous.
And then when you click in, let's say the button, you now have access to that code and edit. You were gonna say something?
Yeah, even web forms, they did that. Okay, that was the 10 years old technology. Nobody wants. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so .NET, again, framework. It means it's just not one language. It can use a variety of programming language. Okay, so we need to go deeper. So first, talking still about .NET. .NET components, what does it include? It includes the common language runtime. I'm gonna talk about this over and over again in different contexts. So common language runtime, just a shortcut is basically CLI, common language infrastructure implemented by Microsoft. So essentially, it's just CLI by Microsoft. Class library, everyone knows that already, collection of functions, methods, languages, programming languages, okay?
Also, CLI is similar to Java virtual machine, same concept.
Okay. So let's talk about first with the CLI. Again, an example with that is exception handling, which Sam always hates because we just use the try, catch, throw, whatever. And an example with that is when you open a file is not present, you would use an exception handling for that. You fetch the data in your DB and the DB connection is invalid. You can't connect. So you would need the exception handling for that.
Well, you can mislead other student. I don't hate the exception handling. Without studying the security input data validation, you count on exception handling, means your software system is very vulnerable. Because of that, you have to learn the input data validation software testing chapter 6. Okay. Then this is coming, it makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, don't ask hard questions.
I got confused. What relationship is CLI, and the exception handling?
Yeah, so I have more graph in for that. I'll explain later because it's going to be confusing. But essentially, it just says that CLR is just CLI, and CLI has this component, and it's a component of .NET components.
What do you mean CLI?
Okay, CLI again. Let's go back to this slide. Okay, what is CLR? It's just CLI implemented by Microsoft.
What is CLI?
CLI is a standard. I have more context on the next slide.
Also, CLI is basically CLR, but it's implemented by Microsoft.
Yeah, it's like a version
of Microsoft.
Yeah. Okay. Now, next, what else is in CLI? You have garbage collection. It's basically removing unwanted resources when no longer required. So, for example, the file handle is no longer required after the app finished all its operations on the file. Another example would be DB connection no longer needed after the app finished all the operations on the DB. So that's garbage collection.
Let me ask you, you studied C++, right? Who is doing garbage collection? How much trust in yourself?
I don't trust myself. I have no self-esteem.
Hey, you got married, then who want to clean up the trash bag? You know, honey, please do it. You know, I'm tired and garbage collection. Because over there, C++ is very vulnerable. We trust you. We trust the programmer. Programmer is lazy. Then just to say, programmer, forget it. We'll handle that. Because over there, the problem is C++. You can control it. Means you can optimize it. Here, no, you can't. Forget it, I'll do that. There is a pros and cons. Java, C++, no, Java, C#, they are using garbage collection by language itself.
That's a good meme. You take your own garbage, your C++ programming. Okay. Okay, so moving on, the next, again, we'll come back to the CLR. The next one is class library. Again, collection of methods and functions. So we already know about this. Let's say a method to write to a text file. Okay. Next, languages. In the .NET components, languages, we have WINS, forms, again, form-based app, ASP.NET, web-based apps, ADO.NET, apps to interact with DB. I'm keeping it simple because, question?
Those are languages.
Yep, based on my research. But again, another disclaimer, because this is just my initial research, so I may get something wrong, but I have tons of resources. I need sources for that. So
that's the much more libraries in forms.
Mm-hmm.
Windows, they are drawing the diagram interface, then WinForm is coming. That's the typical GUI, you say GUI or graphical user interface. And then ASP.NET is also their form. ASP.NET stands for Active Server Page.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, we have a Java Server Page. Java Server Page comes from Java Servlet. Java Servlet comes from the Java Applet and Java. They borrowed that idea. Then now nobody is saying Active Server Page, ASP.NET. And then ADO is Active Data Object, right? Active Data Object. Yeah. Then this one is looks like a Hibernate. You know that going to the database, then you want to have a object relational mapping. That's the object relational mapping is a concept. Microsoft technology name is Active Data Object, ADO. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, object relational mapping is basically you have a table. Let's say your DB table, and now it's like enclosed in an object, and you can call that object and do whatever you want. Okay, this is just like for visual. Okay, what does Windows Presentation Foundation looks like? The UA framework for creating GUI for desktop clients in Windows OS.
Now everything went to the web. Everything went to the app or web. Yeah, it's gone.
I haven't seen that kind of GUI, so shows my age. I'm not yet old. This one, I think I've seen it. Okay.
You're older than us.
Windows Form. Okay, GUI class library again, used for developing desktop apps with rich graphic. This is rich for that time. Okay, easy to update and deploy. So I guess feels like an upgraded version. ASP.NET, now it's looking more like a web page. And you can write ASP.NET code using different .NET languages. Okay. And the framework design principles of the .NET is interoperability. You've heard some of these terms already. To make it simpler, just one phrase. It means it has backward compatibility or support, meaning if you're using a previous version or a lower version, it should also work. Portability, any Windows platform. Security, it has built-in validation and verification. Memory management, you're a garbage collector. And simplified development.
Stop. This is why academia, they don't like a Microsoft argument. In the theory, when you learn the distributed system, interoperability, portability means cross-platform. This one only works in Microsoft Windows kingdom.
Yeah, it's like, that's why emphasis on the any Windows platform. That's a catch. So now we talk about ASP.NET. I forgot what it stands for. Again, what it stands for?
Active server page.
Active server pages. So it supports HTML5, unobtrusive JavaScript in client-side validation scripts. Someone please explain this to me because I didn't understand this one. The second bullet, if anyone. WebSocket is basically, from my understanding, is like the real update of like having a web chat. Content distribution network, read-write HTTP requests and responses asynchronously. Okay. Next. Okay, another thing about the ASP.NET, it improved handling of client script through bundling and minification for improved page performance. If I remember correctly, a minification means your code will be just one line in just one straight line and removes the spaces, all the new line spaces, and that saves up, I guess, memory, right?
Yeah. Who developed the web application here? Raise your hand. Only one, right? Only one, too. My interpretation, you are losing more than 70% of the job market. 70% of the job market you gave up already. All of outside the job, the popular job, the more highest demand is the web developer. Why? Web developer is the big demand because of the web and mobile. Now web and mobile, even mobile, they are using web interface. So you better know this one. That's why you come to the here, so you need to understand all this one. That's why I asked the Clark, here CDU, we cannot count on faculty. If you count on faculty, a lot of time university, they want to go to their own research. A student, they are looking for a job, they are very hungry for new technology. That's why we are creating more advanced version of this group we call the ambassador. And teach them, you will learn it. Even you don't know anything, start it. Next year, you can help somebody easily. So we want to bring the .NET Core, C#, why not Java? Later I'll explain that, why I'm moving here to the C#. Because we like the Bill Gates, no, Bill Gates likes us who are using that technology.
Okay. And just so you know, like, just a trivia. So before I search about Melinda Gates Foundation, and when you check like a secretarial position only, you would earn like close to 130K. And then all their positions earns a lot. Wow. I got that from data, I saw that. Okay, so here's some more, I guess hopefully more understandable what CLI is. So CLI provides the guidelines, how to implement an app's execution environment. So if you come to think of it, it's going to be the recipe. And CLR, Microsoft's implementation of the CLI standard, you can say that CLR is like the cuisine or the food that you cook, implementation, okay? So I did not have a lot of time to research about what it really does, but as you can see in the flow, you can have different languages, and then now it will be compiled and be under the CLI, and now the CLI would now be passed to the CLR, then machine code. I'll research more on that. But if anyone has more ideas or questions, okay? Want to take a look more? Okay. Now, .NET languages. Okay, so basically we all know, we always tag that, oh, .NET, oh, C#. Yes, we have C#. And C# is very similar to Java. And again, if you remember your intermediate C++, we dealt with C++/CLI. Again, it's just a version of C++ using the CLR. Okay, and Cobra, it just looks good. I don't really know what it does. Windows PowerShell, I was like, oh, and then I saw it like, oh, it's an object-oriented command line shell. Interesting. Yeah, I was like, yeah, interesting. It's object-oriented. And
Also now cross-platform.
yeah,
Microsoft
Have to load Microsoft stuff.
yeah. So when I got the full list, the .NET languages has a total of 24 languages that you can use. And the fact that I didn't put some of them, I didn't understand what they are, like F#, J#, whatever. And it has abandoned already like a total of 8 languages. Okay, .NET Core. Again, from what I said earlier, .NET Core is just like a version 5 of it, a version 5 of the .NET, ASP.NET. Okay, it was just recently, 2016. So I even asked my friend Lance, hey, I know you were a C# .NET developer. Have you guys used .NET Core in Russell Investments, financial services? Nope, they haven't touched, so it's really new. This one now, we believe now it's cross-platform. No more any Windows, okay? Cross-platform of .NET framework. Can now use on Linux and OS X, Apple, and it aims to conquer the cloud space. That's one of its goals.
Okay, that's a conversation. I'll let you discuss. I'll give you another example. HTML4, HTML5. How much difference? Heaven and earth. Heaven and earth. Everybody say one character, right? 4 to the 5. A lot of you go to the interview, they are saying, oh, you know the HTML5, right? Oh, that's the other version of HTML, advanced version of HTML4. You are saying yes, right? You left. After that interview, I said, don't hire this guy. HTML5 is, you have to understand philosophy always. HTML5 is a full set of a technology stack. That's a WebSocket is there. Socket programming is there. HTML4 is the language that we not have there. ASP.NET, what is the big difference? Heaven and earth. ASP.NET, ASP is using ASP Visual Basic Script language. ASP.NET is using the what? C# language. It looks like you are speaking certain language. Let's say you are speaking Korean language. You want to learn English. How much tough? You have to develop cross-compiler here. You cannot learn it easily. And then now ASP.NET is calling the .NET Core because they don't want to give up their trademark in terms of a philosophy, heaven and earth. How much different? Look at that. Their goal is what? They wanted to conquer cloud space, right? Cloud means you have to solve 2 things: speed and then scalability. If you cannot solve scalability, needs what? Speed. If you cannot solve it, you cannot build the pattern. That's why ASP.NET Core just came out. Because of that, to us, great opportunity. If you are looking for the C++ job, you cannot find a job. They are looking for 5 or 8 industrial experience. It's a minimum. You got to just the master degree, how you can get a job. Then why you are going that direction, I'm saying? Don't go to the serverless computing, the C#.NET Core. They are hungry for one, you developers. That's why we are using that strategy here. You go to the data science, strongly we need what? Python, then I already talked to the one guy who studied the statistics. Data science, you hate the math, please don't go. You hate the math, don't go finance. Don't say I hate the math, I came to the school of business. No, if you don't know mathematics, you cannot do financial engineering at all. You hate the math, come to the computer science, apply the computer science. Yeah.
Yes.
You cannot do it. Yeah.
Convert everyone. Okay,
But
next.
isn't like computer science have a fairly huge amount of math, which is why they ask you to do calculus?
Yeah, so one thing that's unique in our school is that we are not heavily in math. But yes, you're correct, because I asked my friends, they were like heavily in like calculus for their CS program.
I did that. There is a
I
reason.
hate calculus.
No, you want to get a job and the Microsoft, you want to develop the engine. Looks like you want to go to the big three, you want to design the engine, you have to know engineering. But you want to assemble the car, you have, for example, what is that service center? How many service centers? In the USA, a lot, right? They don't need a math. That's why you have to know your target. Most of the computer science came from mathematics or electrical engineering, they are doing that. Even they never accept a non-computer science major to their graduate program. That's why our program is good. Economics, right? Your background is what? Communication? Computers. Computer science. Who did it? Mechanical engineering. Some of them economics. Yes, business.
Finance.
That is the new area. Who already studied that? Stanford designed the master program for non-computer science major. That's why our program is a cutting edge. Whether you understand or not. That's why we want to bring the non-major here, let them work together, then bring out something fantastic. Okay? Yeah, those are things we are doing. Because of that, why later I'll explain that why we are going to the .NET Core. Go ahead. I don't know.
Oh, sure. That's okay. Okay. So what does .NET Core, ASP.NET Core has? Now it has the ability to build web API and web apps. Before discussing this, when I was trying to create a simple web app or web API, it's kind of weird that I don't have an easy way to just build both on my own. You can either choose one and then build on top of it. Let's say you build a web app and add like web API libraries. So it's just weird. I don't know if I haven't researched so much, but I couldn't see like, oh, just one .NET create project and have this both already right away. And okay, it has MVC, Model View Controller. It helps make web APIs and web apps testable. And aside from that, again, separation of concerns, more secure.
Did we experience that, MVC?
Did we?
Everybody, did we experience that or not? Yes or no?
Yep.
Yes.
Kevin is not saying yes. You experienced it? Yes or no?
Model View.
Kind of.
I think so.
Model
Where?
View.
Tell me where? Where?
Model View.
Imagery.
MVC is
Yeah.
that in the
It's turning red.
course.
Previous course, I brought that example in, then you were
In Java.
Java.
Yeah. So
This one system provided.
So to recap what Sam added to that class is, so instead of like, okay, first time Java, you can do anything. You can have your user input there. You can have your console view, whatever. But the next week, I think what he did is he separated the code and file. This just interacts with the logic, which is the view controller, control model, okay? And then controller is the one that redirects. Okay, do I go to my model? Do I generate the view for the user? So instead of having just one bunch of code, very unsecure, you now have different structure. It's just structured, okay? So to summarize this also, when you say MVC, it's just a file structure in simplest term, okay? Next, Razor Pages is a framework of this one. So it can easily create page-based programming model. So in my experience, this Razor Pages acted like the Rails. Like it was so easy to just create the web app and connect to some things. Razor markup, I haven't really read about this, but it's a syntax for Razor Pages and MVC views. I'm thinking that it's also like the Rails way of like having an embedded Ruby in your HTML code, and this converts to HTML code. It also has tag helpers, so server-side code can participate in creating and rendering HTML in Razor files. Model binding, auto maps to HTTP requests to action methods. Model validation, like Sam said, is very important. We have this input validations before we even interact.
That's the why when they created the ASP.NET, first they put this one into client side. That was the big mistake of the Microsoft. All validation should stay with the model. Yeah.
Okay, and then, so a quick difference, ASP.NET Core is a collection of libraries that form a framework for building apps. when you just say .NET Core, it's a runtime, execute apps built on it. So even now, even I am so confused because with this different dissection of the word ASP.NET Core, it gets confusing.
How they created different technology over years. I don't remember the first ASP. I heard it back to my high school.
Oh, yeah. 1995 or something. Yes.
Very old, and then I thought that framework. They just assume people know that.
Yeah. So again, I thought it's like, oh, you have ASP and you add the .NET and you add the .core and that's it. No, it's not really. It has like different sections. So this one is just to add more confusion to you guys. I did not read about this, but I'll read it to you. So ASP.NET Core, using the .NET Core. All dependencies are self-contained, can use most NuGet packages, can't use Windows-specific packages, can execute on Windows, Linux, and Mac, cross-platform. Okay? Again, saying ASP.NET Core using .NET Framework. Most dependencies are self-contained, only executes on Windows, not cross-platform, will have access to Windows-specific target NuGet packages, needs the .NET Framework version, which is targeted installed on the machine. So more confusion to me, and I give the confusion to you guys. Thank you. Confused? I'm amused, but I'm confused. Okay. Sources. So I've been looking for a bunch of stuff. It's so hard. And that's it. And you have more to say about the .NET. You can go ahead.
How did I, this kind of a decision I had? So, because you know that we are teaching C++ programming, right? Title is really bad for master programming. So we have to change this one, data structures and algorithms. And then while we are teaching data structure and algorithm, one language is good, C# or Java. A lot of curriculum developed by Java, not C#. But why C#? First, we are living in the Seattle. Second, except for University of Washington, Tacoma, nobody is teaching C# as introductory level. How do I know? I founded that program. Then I want to win the competition. Then who is teaching? Everybody teaching Java. Microsoft here. I taught the C#. Now they are very good. They moved to ASP.NET. Then I come back. I founded that program. Now it's competing with my program here. How I can read the better. .NET Core is very slim. They just reduced. Performance is so good. Because of that, I heard that all over the internet service provider, they want to host a minimum 1,000 web hosting. Then that server is profitable. Or they said marginable. Am I correct?
Yes.
1,000. But with the .NET framework, you can't. Too heavy. .NET Core came out very good. Second, industry now watching the Java. Who own the company? The Java own.
Oracle.
Oracle can make money by Java?
I don't think so.
No. Because of that, they are thinking of charging the license. Industry, they watch.
But which is why something like Unity don't use Java because
The
their license.
Yeah.
And Java performance.
Performance also slow. That's why now 10 years, 1995, when I come here, everybody don't learn C++, everybody move to Java. That's why whenever you come to the computing world, you don't have to improve yourself, you don't have to change yourself, you don't have to abandon something that you don't need, you cannot win better. When I started this program, first day, how many students came? 2. I started this program the first week of July with only 2 students. People didn't know this value. I'm not soliciting students to come. You can see the value here. So students who came here now, you are graduating. Even Kartik, I mentioned that. So I want very successful use from you. That's how you can happen. So I know international students are getting tough, in the USA. But you are doing what somebody really desperately looking for. You can win the battle. Also, this is helping your home country. When you come back, bring the most advanced knowledge and skill to the